1 minute until showtime.
All right, here we go. Hey, 90, 90. That's terrible. Let's try it one more time. Come on, let's give it a shot. Yay! Yeah, that's 90.2. That's about as good as we're gonna get.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, from the world's most famous beach, from where beach racing began, it's the Legends of Racing radio show. Live from racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill in Ponce Inlet, Florida. The Legends of Racing radio show. And your host, Buzz McKim. And co-host, Rich Cohn.
Well, thank you very much. And we don't have Rich today. Rich is spectating, but we've got Tony. Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Hey, doing good, ready.
Good. You got those sharp questions ready to go?
Yep.
All right, I know you can be tough. That's for sure. Well, we thank everyone for being here today and everyone out there, too. We're very blessed to have you with us. And we hope to entertain you. And it'd be a bargain at twice the price, right? Exactly. Yeah, so this is going to be fun today. We have someone who has been on both sides of the fence as far as racing goes. He was a driver, engine builder, and then he became a promoter. And Bill France Sr., he started out as a driver, became a promoter, and look what he did with NASCAR. So that's a pretty good deal. But this is the same kind of story here. Mr. Wendell Durrance. Hey, Wendell.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So good to have you with us. Yeah, how'd you get involved with racing? Were you a motorhead when you were a kid?
Well, somewhat. I just always wanted to race, and when we started at Pecan Park at Jacksonville, Florida, me and a couple of my buddies built my first race car, and we went at it. Third night out, we won our first race.
Dang, no kidding.
Yeah, and then we won 11 races the first year we raced.
Holy cow. That's amazing. How old were you then?
29.
Yeah, really?
Yes,
So you
sir.
got a late start.
Yes, sir.
I'll be darned.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I hear that Pecan Park was a pretty good little racetrack.
It was. It had a dog leg going into 3, and I was told by everybody, if you can win there, you can win anywhere.
No kidding.
It was a tough track.
Wow. Boy, well, that's saying a lot for your ability there.
We didn't know. We went in. We didn't know anything.
Sometimes it's better that way.
It is.
Yeah.
We actually borrowed a jig from Tommy Riggins.
Oh, yeah.
To put the front end on the car.
Uh-huh.
And it was the first cars we'd ever built, and it was in the limited late model.
Mm-hmm.
But we were successful.
Oh, yeah? Was it a Chevy?
Yes.
Yeah, Chevelle?
No, it was actually a Camaro.
A Camaro?
Well,
okay.
a Camaro front clip. It
Yeah.
was a limited late model. It looked like a late model, but it was, it had a somewhat stock front clip. But
Right. Yeah.
other than that, and it was a lot of fun, and I was just hooked after that.
Yeah. It's got a way of getting in your blood for sure.
It does, and it never leaves.
No, you did a lot of engine building too, right?
Yes, sir.
A lot of championships came out of your shop?
Yeah, I think we've had 18 different track championships with
Really?
different drivers. Yes, sir.
Wow, that's amazing.
We've done well. And then, of course, in 15, we got the racetrack, and the engine building had to go to the side.
Yeah.
Yes, conflict of interest.
Yeah, I would say so.
No matter what you do or try to do, it's nobody's happy when when owner of racetrack or does engines at races there. So.
Right. So is that about the time you quit driving too?
In '07 was my last race.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We won our last event that we run. Actually, Mr. Dickey Ferry had came to me and asked me about driving for him, and I had sold all my stuff in '04. I was pretty much done. And then in '07, he asked me about it. And I told him, Dickie, I haven't been in a car in almost 4 years.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, you can still do it. So we actually go to North Florida. We qualified the pole, won the heat, won the feature.
Really?
And that was my last late model race.
Holy cow. It was kind of hard to walk away from that, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, we had Dickie Ferry on here a couple weeks ago. He was great.
Yeah.
Did real good. He had good cars, too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yep, sure did.
Yep. I think you had a question, Tony?
Yeah, your track is All Tech Speedway Raceway.
Yes, sir.
Was All Tech a sponsor, or where'd that name come from?
Well, that's my partner, Dean Smith. He was, we got together. I met Dean in 14, and it's funny how it worked out. They had contacted me through some mutual friends, and he wanted me to build him an engine, and he talked about getting a race car. He'd like to learn how to race, and then I told him, well, I got an idea for you. I know where there's a racetrack you can buy. And that that went on. I went and met him, and I don't know, it was, I guess, about a month later, he contacted me. He said, let's make it happen.
Wow.
And that's how it got started. And he was in the fiber optics business, and his business was All Tech Communications. So when we got the track, he wanted to name it All Tech Raceway, and that's how that happened.
Cool. It's a clay track.
Yes, sir.
It seems dirt tracks around here anyway have a tough time getting a raceable surface.
Yes, sir.
Is it local clay? Who maintains it?
The clay that I have, when I raced for over 20 years, and I had samples of every track we ever raced at, with notes on all the clay, the conditions, the moisture, the tire wear.
Holy cow.
Right down to the humidity and everything. And I went back looking at all these notes when I was trying to find clay. We had actually dug 13 different clays before we used the one that we have.
Really? Wow.
And it took a minute to learn how to make this clay work, but I feel like, and the feedback I get is we have the most consistent track week in and week out.
That's a big deal for local racers.
Boy,
Yes,
that's for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, can clay wear out?
Yes, it does wear out. Clay gets from tire wear. It gets a lot of rubber in the clay. The longer you run the clay, the more rubber it gets in it, the more sand, I guess, would get in it. It makes the tracks where they dry out quicker.
Oh, really?
Yes, it loses the plastics, I guess you call it, from the clay.
Yeah.
So we've been very fortunate. We have the track prepped to where we don't really tote clay off on the cars. We don't let them on until the track is pretty much race ready. So we don't lose a lot of clay.
Oh, that's good.
Since we've opened in 2015, we've replaced 60 loads of clay.
Yeah, no kidding. In all those years.
It's going on 10 years.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
Every
amazing.
week when the cars that do take it to the pit areas, we clean it up, put it back on the racetrack.
Really?
Yes, sir. It's like gold. It's hard to get.
Oh, that's great. Do you have to use calcium or anything like that?
No, I've never put nothing on the racetrack.
Is that right? Just water?
Just water. We get our water out of fire hydrants, so it does have some chlorine in it, but
Right.
chlorine evaporates.
Yeah.
And the levels are so low that it doesn't do anything to the track.
I remember when I was a kid, my dad was the announcer and the PR director of Ocala Speedway years ago, and it was just a quarter-mile track. And on weekends, we'd go up there, and my brother and I would work the track with them. And they'd go around to the gas stations and pump out all the oil bins.
Oh, yeah.
And they used to mix oil with the clay.
Yes,
I think the EPA would probably have a little trouble with that right now.
Yes, sir. Back when I started racing, one of my the first full-piece suit that I had ordered was bright yellow, 'cause my cars were always yellow. I had went to one of the racetracks for a practice, and it had been freshly oiled.
Oh, Lord.
I hadn't even raced in this suit yet and ruined it.
Oh no, not good.
I went out and this oil, when we'd done it, had oil spots and
man.
oil everywhere.
And
So
it does not come out.
no, it doesn't come
No,
out.
No.
So
Now the surface at Jacksonville, the Pecan Park, that was a really good surface too, wasn't it?
it was an oil-based dirt, but it had been there forever, and it was like running on asphalt.
Oh yeah, really?
You know, it wasn't as abrasive as asphalt, but it was you didn't have to do a lot of maintenance. I mean, it was a good surface. You know, it was a little tricky to drive.
Really?
Because of the dog leg.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah. It gets a little hard on the tires too.
It will. It can. It takes a different setup. And like I said, we didn't know. We were just guessing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm one of those that I don't try the same thing twice. If it didn't work this week, it damn sure ain't gonna work next week. So.
Yeah, you got a point there.
And
It's a lesson for life.
Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and I say we stumbled up on what we found, but it worked for us, and it continued to work.
Isn't that something?
Yes,
oh,
it
that's
is.
great.
I noticed one thing that seems unique about your track is you have a campground and camping around, is it turn 4?
The back straightaway and turn
Okay.
1 and 2.
That seems
Yes.
pretty neat for a local track.
Yeah, and in the past couple years, we have we own the adjoining 10 acres, and we went in and cleared that, and now we've gained I think about 80 more camp spots.
Holy cow! Well, that's great.
And all of we don't do nothing in the middle. Everything is on the outside.
That's
know.
good. Yeah, no obstruction to the fans.
Well, I don't want cars going across the track when we're out prepping it.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And you know, there's more factors. Like when fuel truck comes, they can't go across the track to take fuel in the middle if it's wet. So,
Yeah.
You know,
For sure.
we move tech, we move everything out the middle.
Uh-huh.
So everything's outside.
Well, that works out great.
It does. It really does.
Yeah. So it's really grown a lot since you first took it over, then. Huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What are your plans for now on?
It's day by day.
Yeah.
Week by week, really. It's racing is it goes through its changes. It's like I tell everybody, everything goes in a circle. You know what you're doing now, it will all change, and in 5 years you'll be right back doing the same thing again.
There you go.
Same thing with cars, you know, chassis, engines. It all goes in this big circle.
Yeah.
Nothing ever stays the same.
No,
So, you know,
it's always changing it.
always changing.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the technology changes from week to week almost. doesn't it?
Absolutely, yes, it does. It you know, I've heard from like the super guys, and this has been several years ago. But if it weren't for some of the rules, like Lucas and World of Outlaws has, with their droop rules and their body heights, if it wasn't for those, the late model cars wouldn't have springs on them no more.
Really?
It would be nothing but shocks.
I'll be darned.
So, you know,
That's something.
Yes.
No springs.
No springs at all.
That's crazy.
And now that, you know, the setups are so soft, because really the springs are pretty much out of the equation anymore.
Really?
Where they're running on bump stops and they're running on the bars on the 4-link. So
Yeah.
you know, the springs are.
Isn't that something?
That sounds kind of familiar from what you hear on the weekends for Cup and
Absolutely.
Xfinity and truck.
Yeah, shocks is everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's something. That's amazing. So the technology changes week to week pretty much.
You know, they're trying to keep it under, you know, so they don't let them get away with a whole lot.
Yeah.
I
Not that
think-
they would try.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They're always trying. Everybody tries something. And that's, you know, that's where racing's come from the innovation, you know, the creativeness of the drivers, of the builders, the engine builders. And, you know, that's pretty limited anymore, you know. Well, with your open late model class engines, whoever builds the best engine.
Yeah.
The chassis, they're similar. You know, there's only so much they can do. They have, you know, the measurements on their bodies. Everybody got to conform to that. You know.
Do you have templates?
No, we don't have templates. We just no tape measures.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
height, width.
Uh-huh.
That's,
Yeah.
Might be nice if NASCAR did that more
Yeah.
instead of a bolt loose or
Yes,
third
absolutely.
shim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're ridiculous. They're so tight.
Yeah, it is. It's I'm not going to criticize, but I think they just want everybody's car to be the same.
Yeah. Well, run IROC then. What
Yeah,
the heck?
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
But there's no creativity anymore.
No, they pretty much took that out. You
Yep.
know, this is what you got to run. This is what spring you run. You know, this it's not what it used to be.
Yeah. What kind of motors do you all run? Do you run crate motors?
We run crate motors, and we have a provision for built motors.
Oh, do you?
Yes. Now the 602 and 604 late models there right now are just on crate motors.
Okay.
The street stocks and the pure stocks, they can still run a built motor.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You think that's a better deal financially?
It in the beginning, the crate motors, I had mixed emotions. As a motor builder,
Right.
I didn't want the crate motors
Yeah.
because you're taking the motor builders out of racing. I gave in. We run it. In the beginning, it was more economical,
Right.
but today, it's not.
No kidding.
These guys, just like everything else, racers are their own worst enemy.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure.
I don't want to elaborate on that too much. But,
Yeah.
if Johnny spends this much money on this carburetor, well, Bill's gonna have it next week.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it might not be spit difference in it, but he's gonna have it anyways.
Exactly. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, they can be their own worst enemies for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's funny. Did you ever get the itch to go racing, Tony?
No, but I want to talk about the Crown Vic series. I
Oh,
think
good. We're going to take a break real
Yeah.
quick. We'll be right back and check that out with Mr. Wendell Durrance, everybody.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. At Beach Boys Embroidery and Tees, it's all about making you happy. Beach Boys Embroidery can customize your athletic golf apparel, caps, hats, badges, buttons, magnets, backpacks, bags, totes, clocks, watches, and of course, T-shirts. Sure, they're at 2033 South Ridgewood Avenue in South Daytona, and they're waiting for you to call now. 386-255-5880. Beach Boys Embroidery and Tees. Let Aloha Marine get you on the water with huge discounts on great brands like Bayliner, Carolina Skiff, Hurricane, Key West, and Regal. Pay as little as $169 a month with 10% down and approved credit. Don't wait. Get to Aloha Marine, 1700 North Nova Road, Holly Hill, Monday through Saturday. 47 years and always better than boat show prices. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKinney.
Hello, everybody. We're ready to go. We got Tony here, and we've got Wendell, and we're having a grand old time. And this segment's being brought to you locally by the Staples on International Speedway Boulevard. Anything for the office, they can hook you up. And also, if you want to take a look at what we're doing here, you can watch it live on YouTube. Just go to the Legends of Racing radio show page, or you can check it out an hour later on Facebook. So you were getting ready to talk about the Crown Victorias there, right, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a big race coming up with those, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Barry Braun with the XR series. This guy's really stepping up. He's put on some high dollar races with, for the modifieds. We just had the 604 Nationals last year at Alltech for $100,000 to win.
Oh my!
We had, I believe it was 139 entries.
Holy cow! You find any cheaters?
Well, we had one with a prep tire.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's engines were good. Everybody's cars were good, but we did have one with a prep tire, and that is something we are absolutely totally against.
Yeah.
The prep. But and Barry, we talked about it, and instead of us going right back into the 604s again this year, he thought maybe we'll just we'll let that lay for a year, and he said he would like to do the Crown Vics. So we're it's gonna happen.
Wow.
It's gonna be in the second week of December.
Okay.
And I think there's around 129 entries so far.
Wow, no kidding.
They're going to cap it at 200.
Jeez, and they're all Crown Vics.
All Crown Vics.
My gosh, that's incredible.
I mean, the tech is going to be, we're going to do everything from taking the springs, pressing them to make sure they're the right springs, the right heights.
Yep.
The computers are going to have to be, stock. In that class, it's right now it's pretty economical for people to get in.
Is it really?
And we're going to keep it that way.
Well, that's great.
Just like everything else, if you let them, they'll do whatever they can.
Of course, that's the nature of the racer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got a free idea for you.
Okay.
These police explorers.
Okay.
In a few years, they're going to start retiring out.
Yes, they will.
I think it'd be cool as heck seeing explorers racing.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. That would be really cool.
The Crown Vic class it's really growing. We've had as many as 35 on just a regular Saturday night show. We usually average in the 20s, the upper 20s.
Yep. Sounds like they'd be fairly economical too.
And they are. They have to run the DOT tires. They all four tires have to be the same. There's no mixing tires.
Oh, that's good.
We're trying to do it so it is economical.
Yeah.
For the racers.
Yeah.
The purses so far haven't been very huge, but this is just out of the ordinary. I mean, this is.
Well, the tech aspect of that big race, that's going to be a tremendously time-consuming thing, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you'd start several days ahead of time to tech them?
Well, we'll do pre-tech. On their, the biggest thing that these guys are doing is having their computers tuned.
Oh, really?
Yes. We actually, at All Tech, we had a race for them here a while back, and we had 31 there. We kind of surprised them because we didn't let them know what was going on.
Oh.
But when the race was over, we put all 31 in the infield, and we checked the computers on every one.
Is that right?
13 of them were wrong.
Oh, was that right?
The next week, we checked them all again. They were all right.
They were all right.
It takes about 5 or 6 minutes to plug up and check each one.
That's not so bad.
We were 2 o'clock in the morning getting done.
Oh, Lord.
We were through racing at 11, but
Oh, jeez.
but it's you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Oh, absolutely. That's the nature of the beast.
Absolutely. So
Yeah,
we're really keeping the reins tight right now. We want to keep this class to where it is economical.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this is one thing about you being a racer first. You know where the racers are coming from.
Absolutely.
And you know what their attitude toward the promoter is.
Absolutely.
And you got to have a pretty thick skin, too, don't you?
Absolutely. You got to brush it off.
Yeah, right.
Some of these guys do some stuff, and I ask them, I said, when did y'all forget I raced for 25 years?
Exactly.
I mean,
You mentioned tires.
yes.
And last week, Phil mentioned he was a racer, subsidized his racing with selling tires, at that time recaps.
Right.
But he mentioned that, after a point, the tracks took over tires.
Yes.
How'd that come about, and how does it work now?
Well, our biggest thing, like on the Crown Vic, we let them, right now, they can run Goodyears, Coopers, Goodrich, it doesn't matter. We don't police what tires they run, but they can't have no prep. And again, like I said, if you run whatever the factory size tire is, that's what they have to run. Now, our other classes, our street stocks, pure stocks, And the late models, right now we are on Hoosier. Hoosier is, one of our sponsors, and that is the tires we run.
Right.
For taking over the tires, we sell the tires at the track. We don't really make a profit off of tires. It's more of a convenience for the racers to have them at the track. A lot of racers, they already get their tires from someone, but, they always need them at the track. So,
Is it necessary to groove the tires?
We have stopped in our lower classes from grooving or siping or anything. We don't let them do nothing to them anymore.
Okay.
How did you find the guy in the Crown Vic that had treated his tires?
Well, it wasn't in the Crown Vic. It was, and that was in the 604 Nationals. And we do tire samples every week. And, we use the lab out of North Carolina, Blue Ridge. And this past weekend, we sent 8 samples off.
Oh.
And one of the factory stocks, the guy, he's new at it, but one of his tires was wrong.
I'll be darned. You think it was a mistake, or you think he did it on purpose?
I think with him it was a mistake because he didn't deny it. He told me what he washed his car with.
Oh, really?
And he said, first his question was, what actually makes a tire illegal?
Yeah.
And I told him solvents in it that softens the rubber. Well, what he was washing his car with, it was Purple Power.
Oh, yeah.
And if you leave Purple Power on your tire, it will soften it.
No kidding.
3 to 6 points.
Holy cow.
So, and he said, well, I guess I got to quit washing my tires with Purple Power. Absolutely.
Gee whiz.
I mean, everybody looks for an edge, and that's racing. That's what you're supposed to do.
Sure. But,
the thing with the tire prep, I've been against it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Every bit of that stuff is bad for you. The chemicals in it are, they all say they cause cancer.
Yeah.
Well, my problem is they, even in the go-karts, the parents have their kids here. They use this stuff on their tires, so they're subjecting their kids and their whole family to that, to breathe that stuff.
Sure.
When we first opened in 15, I didn't really police it, but every week when I tilled the racetrack, you ever spray painted anything?
Oh, sure.
When you take a shower that night, you taste that?
That's right.
Well, when I would prep this racetrack and it was dusty and I breathed that dust, that night I would taste that. You could taste that chemical
really
in your, just like if you'd spray painted.
Wow.
Well, my thing is I had throat cancer. It's been about 15 years ago, and that's why my voice is a little screwy. But I look at it like this: if the front 5 cars has got prep on their tires, every one of the cars behind them are breathing it.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So I'm, and you subject the fans to it from the dust, and I'm just completely against it.
Well, it's amazing. I had no idea it was such a widespread problem.
It is, and you asked earlier about calcium and stuff, and that's why I use nothing, because chemicals are chemicals. Yeah, they don't go away.
Yeah, that's
there.
right. Interesting.
That is an interesting point because it's been 2 years ago. Mark Richards came to me and he asked me, "What are you putting on this track before qualifying?" I said, "Nothing." Well, all these drivers think this. And I said, "Mark, will you do me a favor?" He says, "What's that?" I said, "Would you go anywhere on this racetrack, dig you up a bottle of clay, send it off and have it sampled? I will pay for it. And then when these guys ask you that, you can tell them." "Oh, I don't want to do that." Well, I wish you would, And Mark, if you're hearing this, hope you don't get upset with me.
Well, it's such a science, though, that clay and everything. It's like a big science project, isn't it?
It is. There's a lot of guessing. Nature is a huge factor.
Oh yeah.
I've been down at the fire hydrant, standing in the rain, So I didn't put that load of water on the racetrack. Then we never get a drop of rain, and the track get too dry.
Oh, geez.
You know, it's a lot of guessing. You got to really. I work my clay every day, even when we're not racing.
Really?
Because I know where I need the moisture to be, and you know, I stay on it.
Yep.
So
we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Wendell Durrance, everybody.
Hey.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Racing's original North Turn is our broadcast headquarters. If you're looking for a good drink, great entertainment, and the best in food, they're right on the beach at Racing's original North Turn. Come on down to dinner tonight. Here are a couple of testimonials. These are actual testimonials from people who have enjoyed the North Turn. Been there many times, always great food and drinks, great location on the beach. And another, what a great experience. It's my new favorite restaurant in the Daytona Beach area, Racing's original North Turn on South Atlantic Avenue. That's A1A in Ponce Inlet, about 3.2 miles south of the Dunlawton Bridge and A1A intersection. It's Racing's original North Turn, a restaurant, museum, bar, gift shop, live music. That's Racing's North Turn. Racing's original North Turn has been voted by you best beach bar top 10 year after year after year. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host Buzz McKim and co-host Rich Combs.
Hey, thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate that. And we don't have Rich Combs today, but we've got Tony Hines, which is almost as good. Almost as good. Keep trying, Tony. This segment is being brought to you locally by Daytona Flea and Farmers Market, voted one of the top 5 markets in the country by USA Weekend. Visit our Shop Now network and our Shop Now at Daytona Flea and Farmers Market Facebook page for the latest in vendor tours. And speaking of Rich Combs, we got Rich right here. Hello, Rich. You got a question for us?
Good morning. Afternoon, maybe. I want to tell you, I've got a group of people I meet with on Thursday morning. You know, we're racers and we're talking about stuff. Yesterday morning, one of the things we were talking about was promotion. We said, we're not seeing tracks promote anymore. And I said, hey, good deal. We got an expert coming tomorrow and we can talk to him the whole show on promotion. Well, you made me mad because you've been so interesting so far. I don't even want to ask you a promotion question. But I'd love for you to tell me about promoting a racetrack. How do you get more people in the seats? How do you make that work week after week? How do you get people coming? You know, a few minutes ago we were talking about young kids. How do you get young kids to your track so 2 years from now they're no longer young kids but they're paying the dollar for you? I'd like to hear this whole, maybe even who's your target market when you're marketing?
Okay. You know, we are from day one. My goal has been to target the younger generation because if, you know, you go to any racetrack anywhere, you look up in the grandstands, and I'm going to say 80% of the people in the grandstand are my age. You know, we do stuff for the kids. I mean, we have our whole back area behind our grandstands is all fenced in. You know, they're always back there playing with balls. We've had dirt piles. We do water slides. We do the bounce houses, trying to get the kids interested. I think we were one of the first tracks, like you mentioned Trey Mills earlier. At 11 years old, his dad called me and wanted to know if he could come practice in a late model. Well, I guess, you know. And so he brought him over for a closed practice, and I was really impressed. The kid went out and he done exactly like I thought 11-year-old would do. Well, he ran 60 laps.
Wow.
By the end of the 60 laps, he was darn near turning the time that our regulars do.
Holy cow.
And what was really impressive to me, there was 2 grooves around the racetrack, just about that wide, as his tires, lap after lap after lap. Stan asked me, "What do you think?" I said,
That answers one of the questions.
That's right.
Now, let me just throw one more at you.
All right.
We're having an economy that Wall Street's going crazy.
Yep.
You're not on Wall Street.
No, sir.
You're on the back street.
Yes, sir.
All right. Right now, I just heard this morning McDonald's revenue is down 3.6%.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's big.
Yes, sir.
Most all dirt tracks are having the same problem. Most all small tracks are having the same problem.
Yes, sir.
What are you experiencing?
The crowds are, from week to week, you don't know what to expect. One week we will have 600, and next week we'll have 400. We haven't raised our prices. From day one, 12 and under is free, and I'm not going to change that. Like right now we're at $15 for the grandstand. I know a lot of tracks have went up, but we're not going to. And, one thing that I look at on that is, going back to the age of most of our people, a lot of people are on fixed incomes. And we want to support them. We need them there. And we do need the younger people there. And by me letting the younger kids race, they bring younger kids. Some of their friends come, and then they see these young guys out here racing, and this Crown Vic class. We have several in that class are 13, 14 years old. And they're competitive. They do good. In turn, they bring their 13, 14-year-old friends with them. And we support that. I had to talk to my insurance company about it, and it was kind of a, they kind of let me base it on what I thought the experience of how the kids were doing. And, and it seems to be working for us at this time. As far as the crowds, like I said, some weeks we can't tell no difference. Other weeks, they're,
Sure.
a little off. Racetracks are like Mother Nature. When you think you know what's going to happen, you got no clue.
Well, thank you very much. I don't take any more of your time, but this is a hellacious good program this morning because we all know you know what you're talking about, and I do believe if I showed up at your track, you'd be there.
I'm there 7 days a week. I tell everybody I go to the other place to get a little rest and take a shower, but I live at the racetrack.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Thank you there, Rich.
One thing that seems to be befalling racetracks across the country is they start out in the middle of nowhere, and that's real convenient. You can be really noisy and dusty,
Right.
and then people start moving in, and I just saw something yesterday. The Iowa State Legislature is working on a bill, a law, that if you move near a racetrack that's already existing, you can't complain.
Hallelujah.
And I think that's the way it should be. We only had a couple neighbors that, they weren't belligerent, but they did, have concern. They called a few times, want to know when you're going to be through racing. And so what we done, we took our 3 and 4 end is to the highway, and the neighbors live across the street. So we went and put a 10-foot metal wall all the way around 3 and 4 and halfway down the back straightaway. Since we done that, the neighbor directly across the street come over and thanked us for doing that. He said it's night and day different.
That's great. That's a big expense.
I
for
mean,
you
we
guys,
don't want to, have neighbors complaining because, everybody today complains about every damn thing.
Sure.
I mean, it don't matter what it is, I tell them, I've made the statement before that we could pay off in gold. And some driver would complain because he wanted some lead to make him some fishing sinkers out of. And it is true. They do. No matter best you can and please as many as you can, but you'll never please everybody.
Was there ever a time when you felt like just throwing the towel in and say, this just ain't working?
For a minute.
Yeah.
And, until I realized, when you have two that are, or three that are raising sand and complaining, you got 80 more that are not.
There you go.
So that's what you have to look out for is, for the majority.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Wendell Durrance, everybody.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Daytona Flea and Farmers Market is still the one for great savings and the best variety. Whether you need flowers and trees for your home or you're looking for great prices on Daytona Beach souvenirs, the market is the place to go. The market features 1,000 booths, 2 air-conditioned malls, a restaurant, and 9 snack shacks. Hops Grill features gourmet burgers and garden blend salads. Treat yourself to a great variety of brat and hot dog creations at the Dog House, or enjoy a refreshing drink at the Seltzer Oasis. The market is open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and is 90% undercover, so you can shop rain or shine. There's never a charge for parking or admission. Enjoy our monthly classic car cruise-in on the first Saturday of every month, and garage sale weekend, the third weekend of every month. See all we have to offer at DaytonaFleaMarket.com or like us on Facebook. Discover Daytona's most unique shopping experience, the Daytona Flea and Farmers Market, just a mile west of the Speedway. We're back from where it all began, racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Rich Combs.
Or Tony Haynes. Whichever. We got a tag team going on here.
As long as the check is right.
That's right. Yeah, that's all that matters. Exactly. Well, this segment's being brought to you locally by the Homewood Suites by Hilton over on Bill France Boulevard, right around the corner from the Speedway. Complimentary breakfast and complimentary happy hour, and every room's a suite, and it's a real nice place. So, good day, sir.
Good afternoon.
Do you have a question for us?
Hello, Mr. Wendell.
Hello, Bob.
So, I've had the honor of going up there and working with Mr. Wendell and his lovely wife, Patty, at Alltech Raceway. And the gentleman before me said if he went up there tomorrow or today, would Wendell be at the racetrack? Well, Wendell now has a camper, and he at the racetrack a whole lot of time. But Wendell, I got to ask you, I know that racetrack is your pride and joy. Whenever I come up there, it's like, don't go on my racetrack. I'm putting X amount of gallons of water on this track. It's such and such time. No, we're not starting hot laps early. No, we're not starting our races early because the sun's going to go down at a certain amount of time. How did you figure all that out? I know you've been there 10 years now, but as far as how much water to put on, and when to start putting those packers on the racetrack, because when it comes time for hot laps, that track is hammered down. It's not let's bring the late models out and do some more packing. When those late models go on the racetrack, they're usually the first divisions out there. It's hammered down. How'd you figure all that out?
Just working on it every day. I mean, it's funny you should ask that because you've been there. You see my old white Chevrolet truck that's been there forever. Well, I bought that truck new when we opened the racetrack in 15. It had 12 miles on it. My new truck, the delete system went out, so I parked it. Well, I washed off the white one. I've been driving it for a few days till I got my truck fixed. I think I had 382,000 miles.
Holy cow.
Now, the last time the trip was set was when we started using it on the racetrack. Last week when I got back in it, the trip has 56,722 miles.
Holy cow.
Wow.
That is around the racetrack.
That's 113,000 laps.
That's
around
not
that
going. That's not going nowhere else. That is around the racetrack.
That's amazing.
Now, you asked how I figured this out. I got 7 grandkids and my workers, and we got 2 or 3 Packer trucks. Over the years, when we're off not racing, I'll till the track up and we'll roll it back in and prep it. And I learned how by using my sheep foot, how hard the track needed to be, how deep I needed my sheep foot to be. And, my process, I won't give away all the secrets, but.
Don't tell them the coffee secret.
Right. But, I know how much moisture and how deep I need the moisture before I let the race cars on the racetrack. And I do whatever it takes to achieve that.
Right.
And like you said, we're usually, I say it's a lot of luck, but usually around 15 to 20 minutes before practice time, the track comes in for me.
Magic.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of guessing, a lot of luck. I'm sure there's a little skill. I say more magic and more luck.
Yeah.
One more thing I want. Do I have 30 seconds? Yes. So one more thing I got to say about Wendell Durrance is, if there's we don't call them accidents, they're crashes on a racetrack, Wendell is out that incident. If there's an incident in the pit area where somebody's a little hostile, Wendell Durrance is there. If there's a problem in the concession stand, he's there. And he'll be there tomorrow morning putting on those butt roast, right?
Absolutely.
Is that what you call them?
Pork butts.
Pork butts, yeah.
Pork butts.
He does all the smoking. He does a fantastic job. So, Wendell, you're definitely a hands-on promoter. Does an outstanding job that racetrack. It's the hidden gem of the South. I think Brett Hearn is the one that named that hidden gem in the South. So, folks, stop by All-Tech Speedway. They're racing tomorrow night. It's going to be one heck of a show.
Well, that's great.
Thank you, Wendell.
Thank you.
Hey, Bob, you sound like you could be a race announcer. What's your bottom line with concessions? How much of the bottom line does that play in your budget?
Well, we, like I said, our concessions, we try to do different than everybody. Like Bob said, in the morning I'll be waiting for the meat store open to buy fresh butts.
Right.
Our hamburgers we order fresh. We never have nothing froze.
Wow.
And at 8 o'clock in the morning, tomorrow night, a regular show, we will probably cook 200 pounds of butts. I let the concessions, we try not to take anything from it, to pay for our purses or whatever.
Right.
We let the concession pretty much take care of itself, pay for its employees.
Right.
Our concession does really well.
It sounds like you have a lot of care.
Yes, we
a lot
do.
of care into it.
Absolutely. My girls, they're there on Monday morning, and it's spotless.
No kidding.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's great.
I do have a concession question for
Yes,
you.
sir.
I looked at your website, and I looked at the menu, and you have redneck nachos.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
What
boy.
are they?
That's something that my daughter come up with. That is like a 2-pound, what they call a 2-pound French fry box. They put French fries in it, and then they put some of this chopped up Boston butts on it. And then we have shredded cheese. We have several sauces
Oh, man.
that, you can put on yourself. And that is a big hit for us. It does really well.
That's great.
Yeah, we've actually had people calling my wife on Saturday. They don't even ask about the races.
Yeah.
They want to know if we're having those redneck nachos. They really do well.
Oh, my.
The hotel at the end of the road, they usually come up every week, and they'll get how many? 6, 7, 8,
Really?
10. Yeah, don't even come to the races. They just come get redneck nachos. And
That's amazing.
take 'em back
Have
with
you ever thought about going to asphalt?
No, asphalt's for getting there.
Yeah, you're right. That's right.
It was asphalt when we got there.
Was it really?
Yes, it was.
Uh-huh.
The track was actually built in 72, and in 86 it was paved.
Oh, yeah. Now, was it considered Lake City?
It started off with, it was North Florida Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was, when it was bought and turned into asphalt, it was Columbia Motorsports Park.
Okay, sure.
And then when we got it, we took the asphalt off and built a driveway coming in, and then all the way around the racetrack, we built a road around the racetrack.
Oh, really?
So we have access, all the way around.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I said, we actually, when I raced with Ray Miller on the national touring deal, and we actually raced the late model dirt cars on this track when it was asphalt.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, that was fun.
Oh, I'll bet.
15 seconds from a half mile.
Is that right?
And this is a true half mile.
Holy cow.
It's not a guessed about. It's 8 foot off the wall. It is a half mile.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
And then we run these cars 15 seconds around there.
Holy cow, that's flying.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back with Wallace Durrance.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Welcome to Homewood Suites by Hilton in Daytona Beach. You're right in the middle of all the action. Daytona International Speedway, the airport, One Daytona, Florida's newest entertainment and retail destination, and of course, the world's most famous beach. You'll love our newly remodeled 1 and 2 bedroom suites, along with our popular King Studios. You won't need your full kitchen, as Homewood Suites Daytona serves up complimentary breakfast and evening social. It's like home away from home. Go to HomewoodDaytona.com for Homewood Suites by Hilton in Daytona Beach. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Rich Combs.
Thank you, everybody, and it's Tony Haynes today, and Rich had a great question earlier today. It was wonderful, and we thank him for that. And so if you want to see what we're doing, you can go to the Legends of Racing YouTube page. We broadcast live there, or you can go an hour later and check us out on our Legends of Racing radio show Facebook page. And going from the driver to the promoter, what was the biggest surprise for you as far as promoting?
Well, it is not what everybody thinks. I mean, you know, as a racer, you see the racing going on, and most people think you show up on Saturday, you wet the track, and you race.
Right.
And my God, that is not it. There is, it's just endless. Everything that you have to deal with from the track to the actual, the electricity, the lights, the concessions you asked about, everything, there's just so much. Sometimes it becomes overwhelming.
Is that
you
right?
know, and you just had to back up and focus on your main issue, get that taken care of, and go to the next.
Right.
I don't want to call them sponsors. I want to call them partners. Because without the help from from our partners, no racetracks could be successful.
Right.
Just like race teams, it is a team. It's a team effort. At Alltech Raceway, it's all about a team. From our concession people to our gate workers, our flagmen, our announcers, our race directors, everything. It takes everybody. It takes even the guys driving the Packer trucks. You can't do this without those.
Oh, sure.
And that's the look from a promoter's point that I've always looked at it. Everybody is important.
Yeah.
It don't matter how many race cars you have there if you don't have the fans in the stands.
That's right.
Because 100 race cars and 100 people, you're going broke pretty quick.
Yeah, that's for sure.
you got to, I look at things a lot of time as a racer rather than a promoter.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just like the track. I don't want a rough track. I don't want it eating up tires because from a racer's view, well, if I'm burning up tires, well, I might not want to come back next week.
Yeah, you got a point
If
there.
I'm bending ball joints in holes, well, I dang sure don't want to come back next week.
For sure.
You were a racer.
Yes, sir.
Have you got a car that you use to test the track on occasion?
Well, I had purchased a two-seater.
Hey, no kidding.
And, we were given rides. We never charged anybody And now the insurance has all went crazy.
Oh, boy.
And then last year, when we renewed insurance, they asked me, did I still have my two-seater? Well, yeah. Well, they said your insurance ain't going to cover it no more.
Really?
Now you have to buy amusement ride insurance, and they want another $6,000.
Oh, for crying out loud.
And I've never made a penny with the race car.
Gee whiz.
You know, I'd done it for the fans. I let the drivers ride their wives, ride their kids, you know. There is a market there. You could make good money doing that, but I never did. You know, I'd done it for, like I was telling the guy earlier, to try to get the kids there. I want the kids to come. You know, they might get to ride in a race car. But the insurance companies, they're going to be the end of all of us originally.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's terrible.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't had a claim since we opened the doors in 15.
Is that right? Jeez.
We never have. And, you know, we're entertaining the thought of bringing in the big sprint cars.
Oh, boy.
The 410 sprints.
Oh.
We've already run the Top Guns.
Is that right?
My only thing is, you know, we've already got 15-foot of fence there. But my thing is, I've seen sprint cars go across the fence.
Oh, sure. Oh, absolutely.
If one went into the grandstand, I'd close the doors.
That's right.
I would be done.
Yeah, it's really not worth it, is it?
If I hurt someone, I'd be done.
Yeah.
Tony Stewart rents the track about every year for Donnie Schatz come practice.
Oh, no kidding.
Casey Kane was here a couple weeks ago practice.
I'll be darned.
I mean, we have a lot of them come practice
That's
before
very
they go
cool.
to Volusia.
That's awesome.
But, you know, and I'm sure we eventually will, but I might have 20-foot of fence here before we do, because I'm just, you know, I'm the safety conscious thing. I couldn't, you know, if someone got hurt, especially a kid, I would probably be done.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you know, back to the promoting question you asked, and I would like to thank all of our partners. I mean, you know, from our late model class, our 604 late model class, Jet Concrete, they sponsor, you know, every year. Capital Metals does our 602s. Woodman Life is our street stock sponsor. Buildings and More does our factory stocks, and Plum Level Construction does our Crown Vics. And then we know we have our other deal. We have Hoosier Tire, Ferry Motorsports, which is Dickie.
Right.
You know, Schrader Smoker Service is actually who I got my smoker from that I do the butts in. Massage Obsessions, Spencer Farms, and Curtis is actually a racer with us at races in the Thunderstock.
I'll be darned.
Malloy Grading, Nevin Gainey Motorsports, Array Decor. Array Decor, that's one of our racers' wives. She's the one that decorated our facility when we done our banquet.
No kidding.
Yes, sir. Two Fat Guys Burgers and Fries, Caterpillar. Ocala Restaurant Supply, Palm Garden Inn. That's the guy that actually comes by Redneck Nachos every week. Computune, he's actually a racer. He's been our 604 points champion the last 3 years.
Really?
Waste Pro, O'Neill Companies, Wendy's, Positive Impact Motorsports, the Blue Gator, VP Fuels, and Hill and Nail Fee.
Man, that's amazing.
And without these guys,
Yep.
you know, you can't do it.
Yeah, for sure. It
You
sounds
can't.
like they're loyal.
And the main one, yes, Bubba Site Prep. They are the ones that came in, took the asphalt off.
Oh, really?
They hauled the clay in for me. And you ask about the clay, was it local or whatever? 3/4 mile from the racetrack.
Oh, beautiful.
It's
Oh,
where I
that's
ended
sweet.
up finding it.
That's awesome.
And that was, like I said, that was the 13th place we dug clay.
Well, we got to thank some folks for helping us put this on. We got Danny Jo over here on the board. She's doing a heck of a job there. And then we've got Mike and George with the applause signs. And Rich and Bob, we thank you for the questions. And kind of on a downer note here today, Dave Seiss that used to stand here with the applause sign, we lost him this week. So if anyone could kind of throw a few prayers his way to him and his family, that would be great. Dave was a huge friend of the show, and just a really neat guy too, and a big racer, and we just loved him, and it's going to be tough without him. But anyway, just want to think about him. But this has been fantastic. You're like one of the old grand promoters of years ago. You know, there's not too many people that are doing it the way you're doing it, and it was so refreshing to hear, you know, how you handle things and how you just live for that racetrack.
Yes, sir. My wife told me, you know, we raced, like I said, for 20 plus years, and I told her one day I'm going to get this racetrack, you know, and she said, well, I'm not going to be there, and now I don't think I could run her away.
Oh, well, hey, how about a big round of applause for Patty over here, the one
absolutely.
who really makes it work.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
And I want to thank y'all for having me here. I mean, this is out of my comfort zone, but y'all made me feel really comfortable.
You've done
doing
great.
this.
Hey, didn't he do good, guys?
And
Absolutely.
I want to thank all of our fans that come every week. I want to invite everybody out to come on out. I promise you'll see some of the best racing you'll ever see.
Well, we're going to make it a point to get up there and see y'all one of these nights. We might even have a big old cavalcade. Or
there you go.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, take care, everybody. We'll have another show next week. We hope you'll join us.
The Legends of Racing radio show originates live from the very spot where beach racing began. Racing